Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, warshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we're bringing you a first look at upcoming Tier VII Premium Commonwealth destroyer. This is HMCS Huron. Now, Huron is coming into the game as the second Tier VII Premium Commonwealth destroyer. Of course, she's going to be following in the footsteps of her predecessor, that is HMCS Haida, the museum ship located in Ontario today that you can go visit. I was unfortunate enough, I've never been able to make it up there to see the ship, but I've heard many good things, so someday perhaps. But Huron is one of her sister ships, another tribal-class ship that served in the Canadian Navy. And Wargaming is bringing her into the game, presumably because Haida's no longer available, right? Haida is a ship with a very specific role in a typical World of Warships game, and that is she's very stealthy for Tier 7, 5.7 kilometer detection. I mean, that's stealthy for Tier 9, and for Tier 10, and she's a Tier 7 ship, right? 5.7, and then she's got her little crawling smoke and her short-ranged hydro. So it means that she's an excellent cap contester, or if you are, if an opposing destroyer is hiding in smoke and he doesn't have a lot of friends around, you can take your little short-range hydro, go charge him, get up in his face, and wipe him out. And she has plenty of guns to do that. Huron, of course, is very closely related to Haida, but she brings a different play style, slightly different parameters on the main battery, and a very different array of consumables into the game. That means she is not meant to play that way. So let's have a look around, and I will show you what I mean. For starters, survivability, 15,700 HP, identical to Haida. This is fairly middling average for Tier 7, right? The high end, you're probably looking at like Z39, which is 19,600 HP. So you are well behind that, over 4,000 HP off the mark. But remember, there are Tier 7 destroyers that go as low as, looks like Shiratsuyu is the bottom of the pack, and she's at 12,800. So you're beating that out by 3,000. So there's a wide array, like a huge range of health for Tier 7 destroyers. Huron is right smack in the middle. Armor layout, it's a destroyer. She has no armor. There's 16 millimeter plating mostly throughout. She's got some 19 millimeter here midships. But the bottom line is, basically for all of the destroyer guns you're going to encounter in your matchmaking bracket, you will get penned even by their regular HE shells. So nothing to get excited about there. Maneuverability and concealment. Maneuverability-wise, she is identical, down to the minutia to Haida, right? 36.5 knots, 630 on the turning circle, 3.8 rudder shift. If you own a Haida, if you've ever driven one, you know pretty much exactly what you're getting into here. It's the same basic ship, right? Detection. Here's where we encounter one of the first changes. Huron, you see here, with a 6.9 detection. That is about 400 meters higher than Haida. That means that a full stealth rig Huron gets down to just a touch over 6 kilometers. Now, for Tier 7, that's still pretty good, right? That is still above average. But it is not like the crazy, amazing best in tier numbers you're getting out of Haida. So if you're used to that stealth, you've still got a fair chunk of it, but not all of it. You got to keep that in mind, all right? Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to look at there. Main battery. Huron's main battery still built around these double-barreled 120 millimeter turrets, the exact same guns we find on ships like Haida. I believe Jervis uses these same guns. I believe that Gajimata uses these same guns. They're pretty solid little guns for Tier 7, right? 4.2 second reload is really good. Really good. Haida's base reload is 5 seconds. So you're getting a lot more, over an extra 2 and change salvos per minute out of these guns than Haida does. And you'll see why that is in a minute, right? But the thing to remember here is the main battery has a faster reload. Beyond that, same main battery. Same range, 12.3 kilometers, same shells, same ballistics, same dispersion, all of it. Same gun angles, it's the same, right? So again, if you've driven a Haida, if you've played that ship, and you like the main battery, you're going to like the main battery on Huron. Here, it is just more of same, okay? Just the exception of these guns fire just a hair faster. All right, you actually do have a secondary battery on this ship, and I'll point it out. This is cause for some hilarious memes. It does mean that Haida and Huron are some of the only ships in the game that you can actually get a secondary kill on a destroyer out of. I've seen videos where it does occasionally happen. It's hilarious every single time. Not something I recommend you chase, however. Torpedoes. Again, I'm going to be singing a very similar song here. This is the exact same torpedo armament you're going to find on Haida. A single quadruple launcher here mounted amidships. 8-kilometer range, 16,760 on the Alpha, 62 knots, 1.4 torpedo detection. All, again, identical values as Haida. And though I didn't verify it, I'm going to make the assumption, the bold statement, that just like Haida, these should, and all the other British, Commonwealth destroyers, these are probably fireable in singles as well as the entire launcher. Okay, so if you want the conga line torpedoes, congratulations, they're still here. You still have them. Depth charges. I'm starting to appreciate this more and more now that the depth charges, certainly the destroyer dropped ones, feel very meaningful in how much damage they deal to a submarine. So you've got a nice spread of 2 here, 5,000 damage each. That really hurts a mid-tier submarine. Obviously, you're not going to be dropping these on Tier 10 subs. You're going to see Tier 6 and Tier 8 subs. You hit Tier 6 and Tier 8 subs with these things, they're going to know it. I had a game in Haida recently, probably about a month ago, where I was able to just dumpster this submarine with her depth charges, and they hit good, they did damage. And that was before they buffed the damaged radius, the blast radius on the underwater depth charges. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're able to use these, do not hesitate. They feel really, really, really good. AA defense, not something this ship is going to do well, okay? Not what she's known for. She has essentially, again, the same AA suite as Haida. You've got 1 to flak puff. Woo, be still my beating heart. An outer continuous DPS of a whopping 18, 35 on the quote-unquote mid-ring, which only goes out to 2.5 kilometers, and 119 on the short-range guns on the back of those 20mm Oerlikons. Again, by the time something is on top of you, you might kill a plane or two. The best I can say for Huron's AA is the same thing that I will say for Haida's AA or most Tier 7 destroyers. They're perfectly good at slaughtering fighters that have been left over you to spot you. They'll do that easily. Will they shoot down planes that are actively trying to attack you? Not very often. And there's not much you can do about it. It's just not what the ship's ever going to do well. So yeah, not much to get excited about so far. So, as hinted, the main difference between this ship and Haida is in the main battery. We talked about that. And also in the consumables list. So, let's go have a look. Haida, of course, comes with, I believe, a speed boost. And I know she comes with the crawling smoke. And she comes with some hydro. Huron here trades a couple of things. She definitely trades out the crawling smoke, right? She loses that. She retains the hydro. My brain tells me that Haida's hydro is only 3 kilometers. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Let's double check here. Okay, so there is a change in the hydro. Haida's hydro here out to 3.5 kilometers max. That's all she gets. Huron's goes out to 4 kilometers. So you're getting a slightly longer range hydro, and I do mean slightly. You do retain the engine boost, and then instead of the crawling smoke, you have a heal. Certainly an oddity for a Tier 7 destroyer. In fact, as I look down the list, are there any other Tier 7 destroyers with a heal? I think Skunia has one over in the EU branch, but she's probably it. So this is highly unusual, right? And so this can be very impactful. As long as you know what to pick gunfights against and what not to pick gunfights against, you can get a lot of mileage out of this. You've only got 2 charges here base. You'll probably take Superintendent anyway. Huron, like Haida, is going to be a ship that lives and dies on how you use the consumables. And, yeah, you're going to want to take Superintendent on the captain. So you'll probably end up with 3 heals, and you'll take your heal flag and try to get the most out of it. Huron is a ship that, in my mind, again, the main changes from Haida are a buffed main battery and a different consumable array. Like, other than that, they're basically the same ship. It's going to give Huron a different play style than Haida has. Haida's a cap contester. She loves driving around in caps with her little crawling smoke. She's hard to spot. She's really hard to kill in that smoke. And it means that she can be a real jerk. Huron is easier to spot on the surface. She has a better main battery and is more survivable. She's more survivable. So that means you don't mind necessarily accepting or even picking gunfights with opposing gunboat destroyers, let's say. but it does mean that you have to take care to not get super mega ultra focused out by the opposing team, right? There's enough destroyers now in the game with heals. That's a skill that you should hopefully be developing if you're a destroyer player. Even if you're a new destroyer player, I would highly recommend you playing up the EU line and kind of learning how to manage those heals and when to play a destroyer without smoke with a heal. Learn how to disengage, learn when just not to engage at all, and how to manage your health. Huron is going to play, I think, very much like an EU destroyer in that sense. She's got the heal, the speed boost, the hydro gives her something that the EU guys don't get, and then her main battery is really going to be really good, effective at beating up opposing destroyers. You're probably not going to want to go pick fights against, the Lebedeck Mosses and Z39s of the world, but against most other Tier 7 destroyers, you are probably not necessarily going to shy away from a gunfight, especially if it's mid to late game and you have a health advantage and a positional advantage. You'll absolutely be comfortable pushing an opposing destroyer, getting in his face, wiping him out, and then just healing back any of the damage that you took in the engagement. So, guys, there's our first look at HMCS Huron. She is not radically different from Haida. Again, Bane Battery, Concealment, and Consumables are the three big changeovers. It's going to give her a different play style. She's still a tribal, though, right? And there's a lot to like about the tribal class destroyers in World of Warships. Don't get me wrong. But if you have a Haida, I don't know that I'd buy a Huron. If you don't have a Haida, I'd probably recommend this ship. I love my Haida. She's a lot of fun to play. But if you don't, right now, I don't know that I would play this over Haida in most situations. So that's just me. Anyway, guys, there's our first look. Hope you enjoyed that. Wash your hands. Be safe. And I'll catch you next time.